Hey, we are doing a video here now. This is 12:39 p.m. and this is 10/9/2025. Just finishing up the last two swigs of coffee here. Mm, 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 mm. How sweet it is, the great one used to say. If you know who the great one is, say it in the comments. The great one. I'll give you a hint. He is had his own show. I do believe he even had a Grammy or a top selling record. And even though it said that he didn't know anything about music, but he was able to hear really well. If something was out of the right tone or whatever, the wrong tone, he knew what he liked. Let's put it that way. Sniffing my orange peel here. Can I see it? Look, I just took a mandarin orange, put the peel in here, and that's what I'm sniffing. It's supposed to keep you alert, according to the internet. And we know the internet don't lie, right? So what's new, man? What's new? Well, we have Trump is spreading everybody thin, man. He's putting that National Guards to work. I tell you, man, they're going into. I think they already went into Chicago. They went into Memphis this week. They are in Portland, uh, giving help to the ICE agents over there in Portland, or either that or they're how do you say they're protecting federal buildings, which sounds about right, you know. And you know, it's uh it's good, man, you know. I'm sure the people are probably saying, "Man, it's about time somebody did something really about crime." I was hearing Judge what's her name? Judge Janine, is it? The Attorney General for DC. She said they took out like a whole mess of guns in the short time that they've been in DC, and that they've arrested some people that were being wanted, or ICE was looking for them. So, hey, I'm all for it. And I'm sure the people in Washington, D.C., I'm sure they like the idea. I mean, I don't know why he doesn't come down here to Tampa. We need some help in Tampa. I live in Brandon, just outside of Tampa. And we could use some extra hands to help out the police over here. Why not? There are certain things, that they can do. Use drones, man. There was the movie that was a drone guy. I'm not the guy got stopped by a drone for going too fast. You know, I don't know if that I don't know if that movie was Upload or I don't know what it was. I don't remember right now, but I know that was kind of slick. Using a drone because this way the police wouldn't have to be in the situation where they can get shot right down the side of the road. I don't think anybody should be in that situation. You know, I mean they need to put two cops and a canine dog in there with every car, and they need to have the trunk monkey. If you don't know what the trunk monkey is, look it up. Trunk monkey. It's a Subaru dealership that they started out with the trunk monkey. I think it's Subaru, but it's really funny, man. Monkey comes out, does all kind of stuff. They need something like that, man. Because there's too many crazy people out there, man. They should teach them like driver's ed. Driver's ed should teach you what you can and what you cannot do during a stop. There's no reason why you should have to be on YouTube. There's no reason for it. You know, not for no traffic stop. A traffic stop. The worst that's gonna happen to you if you stay cool, you might get a ticket. Okay, let's say you are gonna get a ticket. So what? It's a couple of dollars. What are you gonna stop fighting with the policeman there and risk getting you get killed? You don't know what kind of day that policeman's had. So why am I going to argue with a policeman on the side of the road? The last time I got pulled over by a policeman, I was driving a taxi in 96, 1996. I think there's some people who were looking at this that weren't even born back then. 1996, I was driving a cab, and the cab had some transmission work done on it. I learned later on, and it looks like they didn't calibrate the speedometer correctly. So I thought I was doing 70 and a 65, but in actuality, policeman said I was doing 10 miles over that. He said I was doing 80 and a 65, which is going to get you stopped a lot of times on a slow night or a night when that policeman needs to write a ticket for his quota, and me driving down with a taxi, it just stands out. It's not like you're gonna get away. And then at that time they were having fake police cars, so they were telling people to get on the exit and then go to a well lit place. I guess I was identifying as a woman back then, But I tried to go to the exit, but then he kept on with the woo 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 putting on his siren. So I said, no, let me go to the side because this guy here, he's bugging, man. He doesn't want to get on the exit, man. He doesn't want to go. I mean, I would have gotten off right there at the Brandon exit, State Road 60, and like one block away from there is a gas station. I don't know if it's a Shell station right there on 60 in Falkenberg. That's what I was thinking of doing. But when I saw that he was getting impatient, I said, "Let me go to the side." And then he said, "Yeah, I'm going fast." I said, "Look, man, as far as I know, I was going 5 miles over." And he said, "Well, I got you." He said, "I got you going 15." And I said, "Oh, well, I didn't know." And then later, I found out after I paid the ticket and everything, I found out that that particular cab had some transmission work. And now that I think about it, you know, I'm not used to passing many people. Usually, if I pass you, something's wrong. Usually, I'm the slowest driver or one of the slowest drivers. Let's put it that way. I'll stay in the middle lane or the right lane if it's a three-way, if it's a three-lane highway, or I'll stay in the right lane mostly. Even when I'm driving a truck, I'm not that aggressive. I keep it like 5 miles under the speed limit. If anything, if that's about the fastest I go in a truck, you know, because it just takes a long time to stop that mother. But and God willing, I might be going back into the trucking. Who knows, man? I just finished therapy. I just finished therapy for my hand, so I can go all the way up here. Can I stretch it out? Yeah, and the therapist says I should do like a hitchhiker and put my hand all the way back. And he gave me some. He gave me a band. I don't know where it is, so I'm gonna start doing some exercise with bands. Hopefully, I got a whole mess of bands. I just gotta look for them. I got all kind of color bands, man. I could make a pride flag with all the different colors I got of bands. But yeah, man, I have to do that here. Let me put on my chains here. Let me put on my. This is my medal when I graduated college. It says high honor. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that there because it's kind of hard to see it, man. Oh, yeah, wait. Alto honor. There you go. Alto honor. That's high honor right there, baby. That's it. I'm getting dressed. That's my thing there. This is my medal for the songwriting, for the song I did, just in case I get inspired. If I get inspired, I'm going right down there to suno.com because all you need is one good hit. All you need is one good hit, man. You'll be like, on top of the world. I'd be like all them one hit wonders. They got a whole mess of people who are one hit wonders, but at least they got the hit, right? But even if I get some money, man, that'd be cool. Even if I get, a couple of thousand, I'll be satisfied. But you never know. You never know. You get one hit, man. you'll be looking to get another one because you like that money. You will like that money, believe me. And what else am I got going here? I'm trying to transfer some files from my phone that says that it has no space to my external hard drive, and things ain't. I'm not feeling the love from the external hard drive and the and the cell phone. They don't want to. They don't want to play nice. Let's put it that way. I have to put everything on on the external hard drive. Then from that external hard drive, which is the 25A, because this is 2025 and this is the first one of this year. Then I got the 25B. So so I put it from here to there because this way, if something happens to this one, I still got a backup. That's the way you got to do it, when you only have two. If you have three, then it's a whole different setup. If you can, they have all these things about backups and stuff like that that I learned in school in my computer classes. They talk about backups, and I think if you got a place like IT&T, well, I work with Island Finance. They were a subsidiary of IT&T, and they used to have backups up to Guazuba. Don't ask me what a Guazuba is. But we used to have to, on a monthly basis, we had to send. They used to have a backup on reel to reel, those magnetic tapes and stuff. We used to make a tape, take it, take it to the airport, and then we used to send it on two different flights, two different tapes, the same tape on two different flights. Okay, just in case, just in case that plane went down, then they have to go with the other one. And of course they had one in the house. They had one at where I work. That was just kind of like backups to ITT or whatever. But they knew how to back up things, man. They were crazy there. But I guess when you got so much billions, because Island Finance was a finance company. They used to lend money to people at pretty high rates, you know. And I don't know if they're around now, but Island Finance had a lot of people when I was there, man. You know, it was in Atorrey, Puerto Rico, and it was a pretty good job, but I couldn't stay there anymore. I mean, I was a computer operator there. They had a real good HP system there, real big, real fancy, fantastic uh, printers, fantastic hardware. But they wanted me to do a rotating shift, which was okay, I guess, if I would have been living alone. But I wasn't living alone. I was living with my mom and my pop, giving them money every week. But it is what it is, like they say, right? I ended up leaving and going to New York City. And the reason why I couldn't sleep is because, unfortunately, my mother and father allowed my son-in-law to move in with my sister, and it was either move out or there was gonna be a bad situation happening. One one or the other, because that dude there, he was totally a a lazy guy. He didn't care about people sleeping and stuff. And I went into the hall and I said, "Hey, can you keep it down? I got to get up real early in the morning." And he started talking back to me, and I started getting into my old man. I was like, I was like, man, I'm over here thinking I haven't been saved that long, you know. So I left, and I'm gonna be. And then I went to Puerto Rico, and I started going there to a Pentecostal church, Pentecostal Spanish church. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna call up the pastor of that church, and he's living in I think Indiana or Milwaukee, something like that. He was the presbyter. He was the supervisor of all them churches there. I think like for 3 states, I think they do it. And now, he's like 70 something. So He is retired. He was in the hospital not long ago, but I spoke with him yesterday a little bit, and he seems to be okay, man. I mean, hey, I had a double stroke, and even though some people say I'm crazy, which I've always been like that, but now I just got the paperwork to prove it. And if I ever get stopped by policemen, I tell them, hey, look, man, let me call up the nurse at the VA, and they could tell you. I could say, well, nurse, I'm not feeling good because if you look at my chart, I had a double stroke 3 years ago, 40 months ago to be exact, and I'm feeling a little bit dizzy. Should I go in and see if I get an MRI, or what should I do? I'll say that right in front of the police because of that. I don't want to be I don't want to be taken away in handcuffs. Like I had one policeman. He came over here because I had my first visit with a doctor from TGH, right? Which is supposed to be like supposed according to them, it's one of the best hospitals in the nation. Tampa General Hospital, TGH. So anyway, I go to the clinic, and the lady asked me if I feel depressed. I said, of course I feel depressed. Stupid me, right? I should have known better, right? I should have. But anyway, I told her, yeah, I feel bad. I mean, I had a double stroke, you know, and nobody's giving me any pain medication. I get a lot of pain in my arm and in my leg, and I'm not getting any pain medication. You know, I did ask the VA to cut off my arm and my leg, and this way they could put like a prosthetic, arm or whatever, and we could deal with that. I'll deal with the phantom pain or whatever, you know, or whatever therapy has to be done. You know, I said, but my arm and my leg are not working. But they were like, no, you gotta get it okay by a neurologist. You have to talk to a surgeon. You have to talk to a mental health professional, and this and that. And we still think that you can do something because you can move the arm. As long as you can move the arm and the leg, they say that they're not gonna cut nothing off. At least that's the impression that I'm getting. But now they want to talk to me, so who knows? I mean, if they tell me that now, I'm gonna be like really mad because I'm gonna say, look, man, you could have done it 40 months ago, and I've been after you for 40 months to do it, and now you say yes. Now you're going to, that would make me mad because I should have had this all done, and I would have been walking around like cyborg. All I needed was the red laser thing on my. Or I could have been like that guy, Jean-Luc Picard, when he did the Borg. We are the Borg, you know. And I don't know, man. I mean, VA hospital is sometimes good, sometimes bad. Sort of like my love life. And talking about my love life, I think I'm gonna start sending love letters to Godzilla. Yeah, Godzilla. Yeah, 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 yeah. The one with the fire breathing dragon girl with the scaly skin. The lizard girl. Going out there knocking down buildings and fighting King Kong and whoever else, Mothra or whatever other monster might present itself. Because think about it. I mean, if in the wintertime, if we go someplace cold, she keep me warm. She just has to. and and they nobody gonna mess with her. Ain't not gonna mess with nobody with my woman. Nobody gonna mess with her. You know. I mean, if we want to go someplace, I just jump on her scaly back. You know, and she'll swim to some place. And if customs gets it wild, then what I could do is I can I could tell go second girl, and she'll go over there, start knocking buildings down and burning up bridges or whatever, burning up land, burning up all kind of farmland and knocking over skyscrapers with her tail, and stuff like that, and I think it could work out. I think it work out. I mean, usually, I've always heard that it's hard to have a relationship with a woman who is that famous. You know what I mean? Because it's like wherever you go, people are gonna be like, "Wow, look at her." She's and they're gonna look at me and they're gonna say, "Wow, man, he bagged the biggest blackest woman." And you know what they say, the darker the berry, the better the juice. That's what they say. The darker the better the juice, the sweeter the juice. I need to get my sayings right. Man, I'm just hoping that I can kind of like wake up. I don't know. I got like a little bit of a brain fog, so I'm hoping that maybe I could wake up and then do some studying. 'Cause I gotta get it on. If not, I'm gonna have to go outside, do some exercise, maybe go up and down the stairs, and maybe my blood will rush a little bit more. And I just had 2 cups of coffee, and I put a little bit of Quick in there, so chocolate Nestle Quick, Nesquik, I think they call it now. So that's what we got. And what do we have? What do we have? Well, I have to study my artificial intelligence to get my engineering degree, getting my engineering certificate, and we'll be okay. Then I find a wife and move to another country. Why do that? Well, I figured this way. Like, let's say an example. Let's say if I God allows me to stay with a clear mind, and He allows me to go and become an engineer. I passed the test. I paid $100. I passed the Microsoft test, and I get that certificate. Okay, now I could go to, let's say, the Philippines or something. You know, get married, and then go to some place to live, like Vietnam or something, someplace out there in Asia. Or if I get her from the Philippines or the United States or whatever, go out there. Because this way we're gonna have to struggle. We're gonna have to struggle to learn the language. See, and in the struggle, I think that's gonna get us together. We're gonna have to depend more on each other. Ain't gonna be no talking to girlfriends day and night like she, like she doing now. If she's an American, there's not gonna be internet connection everywhere. And even if there is, what's she gonna do? She's over there in Vietnam, in the jungles of Vietnam. I mean, I have to be in a place that has internet connection too. If I'm going to be working as a AI engineer, but we're in a place that we both have to depend on each other because I, I don't know Vietnamese. She don't know Vietnamese. Then look, somebody's calling me up now. Let's see who's calling me up.